He did indeed, Maddie. So we talk so often, especially on our program, about weaponizing oil, using oil as a weapon. This time, though, I was asking the Treasury Secretary if he's worried at all about not just sanctions on Iran, but the U.S.-China trade talks as a way of weaponizing the U.S. dollar and encouraging folks, particularly in this part of the world, to look to other currencies. Listen in.
We are not weaponizing the U.S. dollar. If anything, I would say the opposite. I take great responsibility that people use the dollar as the reserve currency of the world. And the dollar is quite strong. Sometimes the president, as you know, says the dollar is too strong. The dollar is strong because the U.S. economy and because people want to hold dollars and the safety of the U.S. dollar. So because of that, we take sanctions responsibility very seriously.
Now, when I asked the Qatari finance minister sitting right next to Mr. Mnuchin, would you accept renminbi for LNG deliveries? And he was essentially saying, you know, well, we're open to all currencies. He didn't really want to weigh in on that necessarily. I could tell that sort of made him uncomfortable. But at the same point, these are conversations that, as you know, Matt, are being had. I mean, we're talking about crypto, we're talking about euro, we're talking about renminbi, about them in a real way that we really hadn't seen before, not just the U.S.-China trade talks, but also, of course, the sanctions on Iran. When you're boxing in a country like Iran, they're looking for alternatives in terms of what they can actually accept. They're a country with an economy that's been tanking as a result of this sanctions pressure. I asked this question also of the U.S. Special Representative on Iran. Listen in to what Brian Hook had to tell me.
Because, look, sanctions occupy this middle ground between diplomacy and military force. That's a good thing, that we're able to leverage sort of America's economic superpower role to sharpen the downsides of malign behavior and to make Iran's foreign policy prohibitively expensive. And so we have really put Iran on the horns of a dilemma. They face either guns in Syria or butter in Iran. And they're not able to make both decisions anymore. They're going to have to choose one or the other. And given the protests, they're going to have to start investing in their own people.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.